This is the new Peugeot 408. You might be thinking, wait a minute, it looks like the old 408, and it sort of does, but Peugeot has made some key upgrades, and I'll show you what they are now. See if you can spot them first though. Can you spot them? All right, I'll help you out. Now I'm going to talk you through the changes that Peugeot has made to the exterior of the 408. So it's got a new face, similar to before, but also different at the same time, if that makes any sense. So the old car had these fangs there, lion fangs, but now they've got rid of those, and you now just have 3 daytime running lights there. I think they're supposed to be like the scratch of a claw. They like to maintain the line theme. Also, this part of the grille is new and the lower part as well. And in this red paint, it does look good. Sort of reminds me of Dennis the Menace. You might be too young to know who that is. Moving down the side, they have given the car new alloy wheels, and unlike in the past where the range started off on titchy tiny 17 inches, all cars now get 19 inches. You just get different designs depending on your trim level. The rest of the car down the side is exactly the same. That's usually the case with the midlife facelift. They don't touch the metal panels, only the plastic panels, and so it is at the back, because you used to have the Peugeot shield there at the back, but now you just have Peugeot written. Every car manufacturer's doing that, aren't they? I think it was Porsche one of the first, like on the Macan or something. Anyway, I digress. One thing that I just don't get on with this car is this big plasticky boot. Reason being, when you're dragging things in and out of the car, you might scratch this, and this rough plastic, once it's marked forever. It's hard to get scratches out of it, and it just looks a bit protruding, like a big baboon's bottom. Other than that though, it is a smart looking car. It is. One of the changes that Peugeot has made to this car, which you wouldn't tell from the outside, are the engines. So they've rated the plug-in hybrid for more power, and this 1.2 litre petrol for more power as well, by fitting it with a little electric motor which gives it a bit of a boost and makes it a hybrid. Should improve the performance as well. But does it? Let's see how quick this thing is from 0 to 60. I'm not expecting too much. Can it beat the 10-second mark? Let's have a look. Let's go into sport mode. For the throttle. Oh, it's shaking, didn't like that. Oh, that was slow, that takeoff. I'm not going to run out of road. I'm so used to electric cars being super quick now. Oh, 9.3 seconds. Peugeot claimed 10.2. So quicker than I thought. That brake boosting was worth it. The clutch probably didn't like it much though. So that surprised me. Let's see if the braking performance can surprise me as well. We're going to do a full emergency stop from 60 miles an hour. Looking at around 35 metres, that is what I consider good. So here we go, coming into the braking zone now. What do we get? 34 metres. Good. Quicker than I thought. Stopped as well as I thought it would. It's funny though today when you think that 0 to 60 in 9.3 seconds is not particularly quick. Back in the day that was hot hatch. When I say the day, that's like the 1980s. That was my day. Peugeot has made so many changes to the interior of this 408. So they include a whole new dash, a new steering wheel. They've turned the infotainment system upside down, and they're now using an Apple processor. No, it's wrong. They've given it a kick plate. Right. There's some new materials. That's a bit new, I think. And there's some new graphics and layout of the digital driver's display, but it's still dark like it was before and a little bit confusing, and for some reason there's no rev counter, just like this weird power charge thingy. That brings me on to the infotainment system, because they could have done with updating this, because it is an absolute dog's breakfast when trying to figure out where things are. Yeah, you're just going to pair your phone and use that. I don't know why everything has to be so dark either. You do have these panels here which you can configure and choose different settings, like choose, oh, I want the navigation then. Yeah, so that'll do that. And you do have some physical buttons to suddenly bring up the climate control menu, turn it off, or do like your windscreen demist. So that's handy, but it'd be better if you could just control the fan speed and the temperature through those as well. There is something about this interior. I mean, I like the design of it in some ways. I think it looks great in a photograph, but when you're in it, there's just something a bit like a toy about it. Now, a lot of people don't get on with the seating position, the way that you have this small steering wheel with the dials quite far away from you and sitting above the steering wheel. I quite like it and can get comfy behind the wheel quite easily, because there is quite a bit of adjustment. But Nick, who's taller than me, Nick, you don't like it at all, do you? No, Nick doesn't like it, and a lot of people don't like it. So if you're thinking about this car, you really do have to check it out. Do you know what? If you just want to play it safe, get something like a Honda Civic. It's just more logical and simpler and less unusual, and overall feels a bit more premium inside. What else do you need to know? Storage, it's actually all right. You've got storage there, you've got your USB-C there. Then there's a USB-C there as well, and a 12-volt more storage, wireless charging. The glove box, it used to be rubbish on French cars, but it's actually not bad now. It looks quite deep, and it's damped and lined with felt. Door bins, decent size. Look, big bottle. We've got cup holders there which do grip tight enough, look, so even skinny bottles don't wobble too much. Other things I like, you have physical buttons on the steering wheel. It's weird that you actually control the driver's display using that, but still, at least they're physical buttons, unlike in some VW group car where it's just like touch sensitive buttons and all confusing. One thing I'm not so keen on though is this. I hate the sound of the indicator in this car. Once again, there's something like a child's toy about it. Also, I don't like the feel of the sun visors or the roof lining. It's all just a bit cheap. And it is rather dark and miserable, even with like this acid green stitching here to try and liven things up. There's just, needs a sunroof. You can get one, but it's a £900 option, but one worth specking. Also, you're going to probably want the upgraded stereo because it does sound better. And that brings me on to this. This is for the driver attention monitoring. Normally you have them there on cars, but it's there. And it's too much in my eye line. I'd see it too much. It just looks awful there. It's like some carbuncle. Hopefully things are better in the back. If you're going to be carrying rear passengers, you definitely want that sunroof because it's very dark and miserable back here. Doesn't help that you've got cheaper plastic on the door tops here in the back than in the front. Knee room's good though, look at that, really good knee room. Foot space is decent, headroom is okay. What's it like with 3 people? Let's find out. Come on then, Nick, jump in. Right, so this middle seat is fine and there's not too much of a hump in the floor, that's okay. We've got Lewis in. I'm all right-ish. Shoulder rooms, I can live with this. What about you, Lewis?
Headroom's not great.
Yeah, because the sloping roof, your head's getting pushed against that. Nick's not liking it. If I wasn't here, you'd be all right though, right? Yeah.
Lovely, just stay there.
Yeah. All right, okay, let's get out. So we've established that isn't great. Maybe it's better when it comes to fitting a baby seat. Actually, it is. The first part is the hardest, actually, trying to access the ISOFIX points because the zips are quite stiff. But then once you've done that, it's easy to get the seat through the door and find the mounting points. And there's enough space back here to be able to fit a bulky rear facing seat. So that is all good. Let's see some other things we've got. USB-Cs there, pointless storage there, little bit of storage there. Decent door bins here. Bit of a problem that the rear windows don't go all the way down. And listen to the noise of this electric window motor. They've cheaped out on that. Oh God, door's open. Heck, you didn't shut the door. Right, so you got cup holders here, a thing there, and through loading for a little bit of throughage. I wonder how big the boot is. Let's go find out. This Peugeot has a very big boot, so it's just over 500 litres of space, which is more than a Honda Civic, but not quite as big as a Skoda Octavia's. Also, there's a bit of a lip to lift things over. Shall we see how many suitcases we can fit in here underneath the load shelf? Let's do it. That's 8 suitcases. So impressive. Very practical car. But you could fit in even more if you do this. Fold down the rear seats. There is a slight issue though. Right. Bit of a ridge there. So it's a faff when trying to slide things to the front. You probably also notice this. The seat belts don't have a separate runner, so they flip behind the seats, which means that, oh God, bear with me. When you put the seats back, they can snag like that. And that brings me on to 5 annoying things about this car. The 2-piece load cover. Oh well. Oh, most certainly does not fit. Under here, look, at no chance. It may lay there forevermore. There's no rear window wiper, not at all, on a family car. Why? This touch sensitive panel is really reflective, look. You can just see the flicker from the trees, whatever you're passing, and I find it rather distracting. If you have the engine running and open the door without putting the handbrake on, it makes this noise, even if your foot is on the brake and the car's in park. Listen. Look, nothing's going to go wrong. My foot's on the brake, it's in park. Why have I got this noise and this? Apply the parking brake, apply it now. I might not want to. That's fine. What's this all about? Look. Oh, it's happy now. Turn it off. But what's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen. Stupid car. If this was a Chinese car, I'd be busy mocking it for copying Lamborghini and the embossed logo. on the headrest, and for copying Ferrari for these shields on the side. But because it's Peugeot, it somehow gets away with it. Tell you what is good though, see this? Underneath this huge badge there, they have the sensors for the driver assistance system, so you don't have to have any ugly kind of patches or stuff on the front of the car. That is clever. And there's some other clever things. This button down there is a shortcut to bring up your ADAS system, so you can turn off the annoying lane departure warning and speed limit warning. It's quite unusual with cars like this for the doors to actually cover the sills. Why is that important? It means that your sills are always kept clean, even in dirty weather. So when you get out and you accidentally rub the backs of your legs across the sill, your trousers don't get dirty. The screen washers are integrated into the wipers, so there's never that brief moment of being blinded before you clean your windscreen. Actually, the amount of water that comes out there is incredible. Wow! Imagine what would have happened if they'd have done one on the back. It would have been perfect. The good thing about the French is that they're patriotic, which means that you also get French tyres, Michelins, none of your mid-tier tyre nonsense here. The Peugeot 408 starts at £32,000. This one has a 1.2 litre petrol engine and the top trim is £37,000. Only it's not, is it? Because if you get it through CarWow, you get £5 off it. And with that in mind, I've decided to configure my perfect engine trim combination of the 408. If you want to see what it is and the saving, follow the link in the description. Also, you can scan the QR code on screen now. However, for the same money, you could go for something different. So I went on CarWow's used car listings and I found this Audi Q3. It's 1 year old and has less than 10,000 miles on the clock. It's the same price as this brand new car with the CarWow saving. There is obviously a slight risk when you're buying used, and that's why you should always use a car vertical history check on any used car you're thinking of buying. Obviously that one on CarWow had a clean report, but that might not always be the case if you're buying a used car. For instance, here's an example of an Audi Q3 with a bad car vertical history report. As you can see, it's had some front end damage. Now you might want to just walk away from that car or at least get a severe discount on it. That's why whenever you're buying a used car, check out Car Vertical and use the code CarWow for 20% off. There's a link in the description. Now let's see what this car's like to drive. So I drive this car in sport mode because there's no point being in any other mode. Otherwise the steering's just a bit too light and vague and doesn't affect the suspension settings because it's just passive dampers. So be in sport mode, have better throttle response, and got an annoying flying here with me. Let's take it for a ride. Actually, the initial steering is quite sharp. It feels sporty because of the small steering wheel, which is good. What's not so good though is the suspension. It's quite firm and a bit bouncy. And when you hit a bigger bump, you get like a dunk 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 going through the car's body. We'll find some bumps in a minute and I'll show you exactly what I mean. There's something else I need to show you, and that's the fact that while it does feel sporty at first, you get to this point where the chassis sort of runs out of ideas and it's like, I'm sporty, then you chuck it into a bend and it starts to run wider than you thought it would, and it's like, actually, no, okay, I admit it, I'm not quite as sporty as I pretend to be. But until you reach that point, you might think, oh, this is a sharp driving car. Right, let's see if it does it now. It's going to run there. See, it's just starting to push wide. Like you think it's going to grip and go round because it stays nice and flat, but it doesn't. It just pushes and you get that tight squeal. Anyway, what's also not so sharp, the gear shifts. Not terrible, just sometimes a little bit sluggish when you put your foot down. What I do need to show you though is that clunky suspension. So here's some bumps. Listen for this. Really can like through the steering wheel. You also get quite a from the engine when you're thrashing it. You can change gears manually, and I'm doing that myself right now, but one of the problems I have is I don't know where the red line is because I can't see it because of the dials. There's no rev counter. Why no rev counter? Why give me the ability to change gears myself but not a rev counter? I don't know whether I'm missing something and it's just in some menu, but I pressed loads of buttons and I couldn't find it. When it comes to driving this car through a village, you do miss sitting up high, especially in situations like this when I'm trying to figure out where my wheel is and not go up the curb. Oh, she's like, oh, can you get round? I'm going to try and just squeeze past without going up the curb. I know, it's my appendage. We won't touch you. Don't touch your car with the appendage. We did it! So it's not overwhelmingly wide, but sitting lower down than an SUV does have its disadvantages. Thing is though, when you get into situations like that, people don't mind. They take more offence when you're in an SUV for some reason. Now I'm noticing the suspension here, it's a bit bobbly. Lower speed, round town, it's like blah, 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 blah. It's not the smoothest. I've got the car in eco mode. Now I would not normally recommend driving in eco mode, but one advantage is that you can just cruise along very slowly without the engine running, but give it a bit of a prod, then the engine wakes up. The problem is that there is a delay. Watch this, right? Cruising in eco mode, 3, 2, 1 prod, and now we're going. And that's rubbish when you're pulling out at junctions. So sod eco mode, stop being in electric only mode because it's short-lived. Be in sports mode. You're gonna need that pickup when you're pulling out at junctions and stuff. The steering is a bit heavier in sport mode, which is, it's not too heavy, but it'd probably be better to be in eco mode for the lightness of the steering wheel. There we go. Come on, eco mode. Yeah, it's a bit lighter. So you want the steering wheel in eco mode for lightness when manoeuvring around town, but you want the response in sport mode so that you're not floundering at a junction. Ugh, you can't win. Now I'm just going to test the manoeuvrability when all these other cars have gone. Turning circles 11.2 metres, which interestingly is very similar to that massive JQ 7-seat SUV in front of us. Let's see if I can make my way around here. Now what I want the full cameras. Okay, will this work? I've got 360-degree view. Can I make it round? Have I gauged it right? So I'm past the van. I'm past the man. But this particular, now I would have been fine here if this person hadn't parked like that. Now the problem is, that's telling me that I can get past, but I do not believe I can, especially when he's got his tow hitch out. So it's all right actually. It's not class leading, but it's not terrible either. Door mirrors are only okay in size. The view out the back window, it's quite a small rear glass screen actually. And the view over your shoulder isn't great because there's a big rear pillar. So when you're putting out junctions and doing that kind of thing, it's not so good. So while fine, there are cars that are better to just drive around town, and a lot of them are SUVs to tell you the truth. Yeah, look, I'm cruising along in an electric power now, 10 miles an hour, just tickling the accelerator. Look, we can go up to 20, which is the limit here. You do have to be so gentle with the accelerator. Press it a bit and the engine will come in. And when it does, you notice it, because it's a 3-cylinder, it goes and vibrates quite a bit. Obviously, the advantage of being able to do this is that it does really help your fuel economy if you can be bothered. But I say life's too short, and that's probably why my economy isn't as good as it could be, though not terrible. This is averaging 43 mpg. Oh look, I think it's 96 miles an hour. It's definitely not. Right, I've had enough of being in eco mode. Let's go into sport. Sport is where the fun is. Now we come into a bit of dual carriageway. I'm just going to test the pickup from 40 to 70 miles an hour. 3, 2, 1, now. Oh, that took a while. It only kicked down 1 gear. It's not terrible, but it's not particularly quick. I tell you what is quite noticeable. There's a lot of road noise. Wind noise is fine, but it might be fine because I can't hear anything over the road noise. It's quite loud. I'm having to talk noticeably louder than normal. You're going to be turning up the stereo, definitely, because otherwise it's just going to be like brown noise. In fact, it could send you to sleep. Thankfully, the driver alertness thing will prevent that from happening. Overall though, the driving experience is, it's fine. So then what's my final verdict on the Peugeot 408? Well, I think it's a good looking car, but overall, the best way to describe it is just okay. I wouldn't necessarily recommend them to people, but if someone came to me and goes, look, Peugeot 408, got this wicked deal on it, I go, yeah, if you like it, buy it. That's about it. Now you might think that verdict is a little bit damning. Part of the reason is that if you want a car such as this, you're better off with a Skoda Octavia, or if you've got similar money or in fact want to spend less, you can get something like a JQ7, which is an SUV and feels more premium. Now if you think that's controversial, check out my review of the JQ7 to see if you agree with me or not. Now I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. Let me know what you think of this car in the comments below. If you haven't done so, subscribe to this channel because I've got some more exciting reviews coming out. And of course, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.